Okay, quick video today on how to find molar mass. So we're going to be looking at molar mass, and so this term right here is going to be talking about the weight of an item from the periodic table, or how many grams are in a mole. But all you need to care about really is adding those up and figuring out those values using your periodic table. So I'm going to be using this periodic table here. This would be the best plan for you because you will get the same exact answers if you use these numbers. And so when we're looking at the periodic table, we want to use these specific numbers so we all get the same answers. So we're going to practice two of these today. We're going to do number 5, and then we're going to do number 13. And they offer some different things to look at. So we'll start here with number 5. And I'm just going to rewrite it real quick. And so we've got Na, but the important part for you is this 2. That means that you have 2 sodiums. The 2 is going to apply to just the Na. Now, let's take a look at the next chemical, which is a carbon. It's by itself. It doesn't have any number in this position here, so there's nothing there. So that's just a 1. And then let's go ahead and write down our oxygen, and then it has a 3. So the way the 3 works, again, is that it's going to apply just to the oxygen. So what you end up with is basically this. You're going to have 2 NAs, you're going to have 1 carbon, and you're going to have 3 oxygen. And we are going to go ahead and find how much they weigh, and we're going to add them all up, and we're going to get a mass. And so where are we going to get those numbers from the periodic table? So what I'm going to do, I'm going to go ahead and write those down here. And so I'm just going to write down, you could do this in your calculator, but I'm going to write it down for you. So I'm going to do 2, and we're going to multiply that by whatever the Na weighs. So we're going to look that up. Over on the periodic table, Na is going to weigh 22.99 right there. So let's go back, plug in 22.99, and then we're going to add that to the carbon. So let's go back over here and find carbon, 12.01. So that's going to just be 1 times 12.01, and then we will go ahead and add that to the last one, which is going to be 3 times the oxygen. So the oxygen, I'm going to go back over here, weighs 16. And then we're going to plug all that into our calculator, and that is going to give us a final answer, right? So let's plug that into our calculator. And so we're going to have 2 times 22.99 plus, and maybe we should use the parentheses here just to make it look better. So let's just go 2 times 22.99. Oops. There we go. Plus 1 times the carbon value, which was 12.01, plus 3 times 16.00. And again, you can just plug this all in your calculator. You don't need to multiply a value by 1 if it's a 1. I understand that, but I just want to show you all the work. And we're going to write down the answer exactly like that. We're not going to round it, 105.99. So we go back to our paper. It's going to end up being 105.99, and the unit, kind of run out of space, would be actually grams per mole. So let me get a little more space here. And let's go ahead and go 105.99, and the unit would be grams per mole, or grams divided by moles. So there's the answer to the first one right there, 105.99. Now, number 13 is the second one we're going to work, so I'm going to erase this, so make sure you get that down. I'm going to erase all this, give us some more space, and we're going to run through and look at what a parenthesis does. So parenthesis is going to make things a little more complicated, but it's just going to be like in math where a number is going to distribute when you see a parenthesis. So let's go ahead and look at that here. And we got this FE2. Okay, so the FE, there's just two of those. The 2 only is going to apply to the FE, and so that's not a big deal. Okay, here's the problem. I'm going to do this in a different color. SO4 is in a parenthesis, and then outside the parentheses, there's a 3. Okay, so this 3, it's going to apply to everything inside here. So it is going to multiply by everything that we have inside of our parentheses. So basically what you end up with here is you're going to have 3 sulfurs, because it'd be 3, remember there's a little 1 there, so 3 times 1 for the sulfur, and we're going to have 3 times 4, or 12 oxygen. And so what you end up with here is this 3 multiplies by 1 and by 4, so you get 3 sulfurs and 12 O's. And so what we end up with at the end is going to be something that looks kind of like this in our calculator. We're going to have 2 times whatever iron is. So let's go look up iron. 55.85. So 55.85 plus sulfur. Now there's only 1 sulfur, so again I'm going to do, there's 3 sulfurs. There's 1 here, but then times 3. So I'm going to put that here, 3 times, now we got to look up sulfur, and sulfur is going to be right there, 32.07. And last, we're going to do the 12 oxygens. So remember, we multiplied 3 times 4. That's over 3 times 4. That got us our 12. So let's go back, and we're going to add that to 12 multiplied by oxygen. We did oxygen a minute ago, but it's still right there, 16.00. So let me sneak that in right here. And then there we go. That's going to be our math problem. And then give us a little more space this time. We didn't have a lot of space last time. So there we go. And we're going to go ahead and get an answer. So let's run this through our calculator. So we're going to clear this out. So we're going to go 2 times 55.85, 3 times 32.07. So we're going to go 3 times 32.07. And then the last part was 12. Remember, 3 times 4 times 16.00. And we'll close it all. So 2 times 55.85 plus 3 times 32.07 plus 12 times 16.00. Remember, if you're using the same periodic table, you'll get the exact same answer, 399.91. So let's go plug that in, 399.91. So that's going to be 399.91 grams per mole. And we'll talk about this more later, but this just means that if we have a mole of this chemical, it weighs 399.91 grams. Or if we weigh out 399.91 grams, we have a mole. So what this does, it allows us to measure out amounts of chemicals. And so remember that even though the mole sounds funny, it's just a grouping of a chemical. So go ahead and practice these. Should be able to work through the rest of these. There is nothing on this paper that is any different, and so you just have some with parentheses, some without, some like right there, water, very quick, very easy. Right here, 1 lead, 1 chromium, 4 oxygen. But then like these with these parentheses, they can be just a little more challenging. So go ahead and attempt these, see how you can do, and you should be fine. So there we go.